Ooh, boys, it looks like the market just does not want to retrace. But don't let that make you think that I'm bearish though, because I am definitely not. Like I said in a previous video, you can't go broke by taking profits, but you can definitely stay poor by doing so. Like I said in my last video on Wednesday, the Fed meeting was coming up that day and the market was looking forward to any sign that the Fed might be doing a pivot. And whenever we heard that the Fed was looking forward to lowering interest rates, the market absolutely exploded, with Bitcoin making gains of about 7% that day, even in the midst of people expecting a huge dump down to maybe around $30,000. I was even expecting a dump down to about $30,000, but right now it looks like that might just not happen. However, we do still have this huge bearish divergence right here on the daily chart, which is indicated by these lower lows on the RSI and these higher highs here for the price. This means that maybe we're not going to be making a higher high right here anytime soon, but we could go sideways as we consolidate and get ready for the next pump. What we're looking for here is for this bearish divergence to play out, and it looks like it's already mostly done with that, because if it makes a lower low here with the price making a higher low, then that'll make a bullish divergence, and that could mean that we're done with this bearish divergence and are going to make another leg to the upside. In the meantime though, it looks like we still have a little bit more to go. But there hasn't been much news recently, and basically any kind of positive news seems like it would be an excuse for people to FOMO back in, and I think that would send us higher. Speaking of things moving higher, have you guys been keeping your eyes on Bonk recently? Over the past couple of months here, it's been up about 15,000% at its highest, or maybe even 20,000%, but who cares really? 15,000 or 20,000%, the point is, it's printing millionaires. It's been on a massive run and it looked like it was starting to cool off here a little bit, but then it made another big jump of about 200%, and that looks like it's because of the news that it was actually listed on Coinbase. And if I learned anything from coins being listed on big platforms like Coinbase in the last bull market, this means that it could be time to take a little bit of profits. I'm sure that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but another thing that's indicating this is that this looks to be a shooting star candle, which is basically the opposite of a hammer candle, and that usually indicates that there's going to be a reversal in momentum. Also, if you look here at the RSI, it does have slightly lower highs going on here, while the price is obviously making higher highs. And these two things, together with this buy the rumor, sell the news event that is the Coinbase listing, makes me think that it could be time to take a little bit of profits and wait for a retracement. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's done pumping, because the bull market is just getting started. And if it does have a little bit of retracement, then I might even YOLO in a little bit into this coin, because if I don't, whenever it starts pumping again, I'm probably going to be upset. Speaking of shit coins that might be overheated, here we've got one called Ladies, or Milady. A few people in my Discord have been making some good gains on this, and I'm not going to bash that, obviously. I'm proud of you guys for making those degenerate gains. But what we have here at the top of this chart is looking like another indecision candle, and this usually indicates a possible reversal, especially when it's combined here with another one of those bearish divergences happening with the RSI. The reason why this one started pumping in the first place was way back whenever Elon Musk accidentally tweeted about it. X was still Twitter. And ever since then, degenerates have just been waiting for another shout out by Elon Musk or some kind of other catalyst that'll send it skyrocketing to the moon. Right now, though, it seems like it's only pumping because of things like Bonk that are already pumping, and it's just catching on to the meme wave. But right now, Bonk is leading the meme coin narrative, and it looks like if Bonk actually has somewhat of a retracement, then maybe other meme coins might have a little bit of a cool off as well. But I'm not going to lie, when it comes to degenerate, shitty meme coins, I think maybe Milady is up in my top 10 or so. And if it does have a little bit of retracement, then I might just add it to my YOLO bags. What are some degenerate, stupid ass, really just dumb... What are some degenerate, real shit coins that you guys are invested in or maybe interested in that you think might make some kind of explosive gains like Bonk did over the past couple of weeks? Anyway, let's get back to Bonk. And positive news for Solana, the Solana phone has just sold out. As according to this article on the block, traders have spotted an arbitrage opportunity with Bonk's skyrocketing price. Apparently, whenever you bought a Solana phone, you were eligible for a Bonk airdrop that was worth about $690 something, I think it was. Meanwhile, the phone is worth like $640. So If you bought the phone, then you instantly made back the price of the phone just by cashing in on that airdrop, and you would actually make a little bit of money, maybe even $20 or $40 off of buying the phone just based off of the price of the airdrop that you would receive. In other words, Solana decided to give out $40 free if you bought one of their phones, and people took up that opportunity because who the heck doesn't want a free phone and $40? Anyway, hopefully they're going to be putting out more phones like this because I think there's going to be more airdrops and I wouldn't mind getting one myself. Let me know in the comments if you guys would own a cryptocurrency phone or if you just prefer to stick with the popular and trendy thing to do, which is to have an iPhone for some dumbass reason. Anyway, the Fed mentioned that they might actually be lowering interest rates at the beginning of next year, and before that meeting, it looked like the best opportunity for us to actually see a lowering in interest rates was going to be in the May meeting, but now it looks like the market is actually anticipating a rate cut with a 62% chance as early as the March meeting. Usually whenever they lower interest rates, it's because of some kind of recession hitting, and that means that stocks and all kinds of things like that are going to take a hit. But BlackRock did already say that Bitcoin is a flight to quality, so maybe it'll do well in a recession. Anyway, whenever the Fed lowers these interest rates, it just means that they're going to be ramping up the money printer. And while we might see a short-term dip whenever the news actually comes out, in the long term, that's ultimately bullish, and it means that basically Bitcoin is going to the moon because all that money that's being printed is going straight into the coin. In other bullish news, the FASB has finally confirmed their fair value approach to the corporate crypto holdings. Before, whenever a corporate entity had Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they had to mark it down to the lowest point at which Bitcoin had been since they held it for some dumb reason, and now apparently they can mark it up to the actual marked at market value, meaning that if they've held Bitcoin since it was $20,000 and it goes up to $500,000, then they don't have to actually mark down Bitcoin as $20,000 on their balance sheet, and they can mark it as a profit, which should have been the case all the time, but I guess the government just didn't want Bitcoin to succeed. Imagine that. Anyway, now it's bullish because corporations can hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and it can actually be an asset instead of a liability. Unfortunately, apparently there was a ledger hack though, and some people did lose some money because they were apparently dealing with DeFi platforms, and somehow somebody must have signed away the rights to the keys to their wallets. Anyway, I've said a lot on this channel that you want to keep your crypto in a cold storage wallet, but if you actually want to interact with DeFi, then you might want to have two kinds of crypto cold storage wallets, or maybe even a cold storage and a hot wallet. And then you want to probably move your cryptocurrency into a separate wallet that isn't your long-term HODL wallet. And that way, if any wallet's going to get hacked, it's going to be the hot wallet and you won't lose the majority of your funds. Basically, what I'm saying is you don't want to interact with any kind of sketchy new protocols straight from your HODL wallet because that's where you keep most of your money, and you would never give access to your whole bank account away to some sketchy-ass company. As long as you follow the best practices for cryptocurrency, there's probably nothing that you have to worry about, but it can be complicated and a little bit overwhelming to deal with all of these security risks. That's just the nature of being your own bank. In other news, according to this article on CoinDesk, the US SEC has denied Coinbase's push for crypto regulations as unwarranted. Coinbase has waited since 2022 for a response from the SEC on its formal position to request tailored regulators for crypto, even seeking to force an answer through the courts, and the rejection has now arrived. The SEC says there's no reason to craft a new regime for crypto and that it's already writing some targeted rules and conducting enforcement actions under existing authorities, though 2 of the 5 commissioners disagreed. This isn't surprising to me at all because obviously the SEC doesn't want to relinquish any of their power to anybody, but I almost kind of agree with what the SEC is saying here because honestly I think that we don't need very much regulation for cryptocurrency. It's a free market and that's the way I would like it to stay. Unfortunately, it does look like we're going to actually have to get some regulation before these institutional investors are going to start pouring trillions into the space. So I do believe that regulation is inevitable. I'm just not excited to see more regulation because I don't want the government to have any damn control over cryptocurrency. But Coinbase says they're going to take the matter to court, and that makes sense because I'm sure Coinbase does want regulation in the space. Regulation for them means that they're going to make money, and as a regulated entity, I don't think Coinbase cares all that much about cryptocurrency offering us all freedom from the traditional system. They're a company just like the rest of companies, and the bottom line is, for them, the bottom line. They want to make that money. Anyway, the SEC thinks that they have the tools necessary to regulate the cryptocurrency space, and they don't think they need any help. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how this battle between Coinbase and the SEC plays out in court. But in the meantime, I don't really expect it to have that much effect on the price. Anyway, it looks like we might have a little bit of a cool off here because there's not many catalysts between now and the end of the year, and it looks like we might not be getting that ETF until around January 10th. Or at least that's when people are expecting it to be, so that's the psychological deadline. For now, with no catalyst between now and then, it looks like we could cool off a little bit, especially as people spend more time with their families over the Christmas holiday. And in my opinion, that's really just perfect timing because it's probably good for us to have a cool off before the ETF is actually approved so that we can just get ripping and not look back at the beginning of next year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Bitcoin due for an actual dip, or are we just going to consolidate sideways until there's another catalyst to send us to the upside? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.